You believe in job descriptions, performance reviews, and those corporate values printed near the elevator, not because you became cynical, but because you became the one person in the room they could not explain away. The real one, you. Do not go back after that. The one that was always running underneath. You stop mistaking praise for protection. You stop performing harder when the problem was never performance. You start reading the room you are actually standing in. You stop treating access as loyalty. None of this stops because you are talented, but something does shift once you see it. The biggest advantage you will ever have at work is not talent. Praise is still functioning as extraction. Loyalty is still flowing in one direction. It is seeing the system clearly before it needs you to stay confused. Visibility is still outranking effort. Every rule in this list runs whether you see it or not. It comes from being essential in a way people above you can explain in one sentence. When the cuts come, the names that survive are not the most important. Rule number 15. They are the most explainable. Value that cannot be narrated, cannot be defended. You become smaller, softer, and easier to handle. Job security does not come from being essential. You might be the most critical person on your team, but if the person making budget decisions cannot describe what you do, you are already gone. Rule number 14. But the effect is reduction. You comply because you believe you are growing into a leader. But if every piece of feedback you receive makes you quieter, it is worth asking who it is making you quieter. It just decided who was allowed to own it. They tell you to be more polished, more measured, or better at reading the room. Feedback is not always development. Sometimes it is compression. You were told to be less direct, less visible, or less vocal. The language sounds professional. Meetings are not for information. Rule number 13. You have watched your own words come back to you in someone else's mouth, and you watched everyone nod like it was the first time they heard it. Whose idea gets repeated 10 minutes later by someone more senior and suddenly treated as original? The system did not miss your contribution. You have sat in that meeting whose concerns get tabled for later. Who gets eye contact from the decision maker? They are for power. Who gets interrupted? Look around the table. Who gets asked for input? That loyalty you showed evaporates in a single meeting you were not invited to. You are expected to sacrifice for the collective. Both sides use the same word, but only one side actually pays the price. They reserve the right to be strategic with your life. Rule number 12. It was not Way Street. When budgets shift or leadership changes direction, your position becomes inconvenient. You were told to stay through the hard times, to commit, and to show you are a team player. This is rule number 11. You believe that this loyalty was a contract. It was a one. You were the fix. That was the problem. Loyalty is demanded downward and discarded upward. You stabilized a failing project. So instead of fixing the root cause, they kept handing you the wreckage. Your competence became the replacement for the infrastructure. The company refused to build, not that you deserved more, but that you could absorb dysfunction without escalating it. Rule number 10, you held a team together through a quarter that should have collapsed. What did the organization learn? You covered for 2 missing roles. The reward for fixing chaos is becoming the permanent chaos absorber. You move from high potential to needs alignment. No one tells you. You just stop getting chosen. You are becoming harder to steer, and the system does not punish that directly. It is not sudden. It reclassifies you. You are doing something uncomfortable. It is tonal. You are not doing anything wrong. Meetings you used to lead stop appearing on your calendar. Feedback becomes vague. Your manager's replies get shorter. And then the atmosphere shifts. You are performing well. Input on the direction of the team. A boundary that bends every time it is tested is not a boundary. You start asking for things that match your value. Credit, equity. It is a suggestion Rule number 9 operates in the background for months before you feel the cold. You are being evaluated on how controllable you are, not just how good you are. And in a system designed to extract maximum value, suggestions are meant to be ignored. None of it matters if your behavior keeps saying yes. Over time, the people who made things smooth get promoted. You can be clear about your bandwidth in every meeting. Boundaries are only respected after they cost the system something. You can say no. You can explain your limits until you are breathless. Rule number 8, you are not being pushed away for being wrong. The person who controls the narrative controls the outcome. The people who made things right get managed out. You are being pushed away for being work. When you meet the system for the first time, it is rarely as an ally. A less competent employee who simply agrees, absorbs direction, and never makes the morning harder for their boss is a relief. Managers, under pressure, will choose relief over excellence every single time. A competent employee who pushes back, escalates hidden problems, and requires honest engagement on every decision is exhausting to the hierarchy. Being liked matters, but being easy to manage matters more. Rule number 6. This is rule number 7. When you file a complaint, a containment process activates. The question is not whether you were wrong, but whether the organization is exposed. Human resources exist to protect the company, not you. One sentence from a senior leader can reshape your entire trajectory. You just feel the doors start staying closed while you work harder. Thinking effort is the issue. Once it sticks, everything you do is filtered through it. Your performance is not defined by what you have done. It only needs repetition. A label like technically great but not strategic does not need evidence. It is defined by what gets said about you in rooms you are never invited into. Leadership promotes the person who threatens them least. The second one gets promoted. You are told to keep delivering as if performance was the part that failed. But performance was never the criteria. Rule number 5. Not sometimes, but routinely, leadership does not promote the person who performs best. Your director has 2 candidates. The other is less impressive, but agreeable, predictable, and easy to manage upward. Promotions do not go to the best performer. One is sharp, independent, and delivers results, but asks hard questions and does not fold easily. You are not a hero for staying silent. This is rule number 4. They go to the safest political choice. It never has. If someone else is seen standing next to your results first, the victory becomes theirs. You are just a ghost in the machine. Everyone nods. If it cannot be seen by the right people, it does not count. The work does not speak for itself. Your name is never mentioned. 3 weeks later, that person is remembered as the leader of the initiative. That is not a compliment. Rule number 3. You build the project in the shadows, but someone else walks into the boardroom and summarizes it. Visibility beats quiet excellence every single time. They will only check on the project status. That is your willingness being used as a staffing plan. Once the organization knows you will not let things fail, they will keep feeding you chaos until you either break or leave. We are giving this to you because you are the only one we trust. They will not check on your well-being. You are the person who never drops the ball. You get the workload of the person who quit 3 months ago and was never replaced. Every time they use the same phrase, then the shift happens. If no one with authority can see what you did and connect it to something they personally care about, you did not do valuable work. You get the understaffed project, you get the impossible deadline. It is not. That feels like trust. It is a data point. Reliability is rewarded until it becomes exploitable. You are being mapped. In the beginning, being dependable feels like a badge of honor. Every time you say yes to a crisis, the system notes your capacity to absorb dysfunction. Rule number 2, work that disappears into the infrastructure gets consumed, the system does not care how tired you are. It only cares how much of your energy can be converted into their leverage. You did invisible work, and invisible work only builds an invisible career. Stop mistaking your exhaustion for progress. The difference was who benefited. Work that makes power look good gets recognized. They put together a simple slide deck that made your manager look sharp in front of a director. That person got the shout out. You got more work. But look at your colleague. The difference was not the quality of labor. Your boss rewards usefulness to their specific goals. No one mentioned it.